Hello everyone and welcome to Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. Although some of the other women thought Sofia of The Bachelor season 29 was being ungrateful when she admitted to them that she didn't think she knew Ellis well enough to become engaged to him after just one date, I absolutely agree with her that the show moves too quickly for a proposal to occur. Carolina expressed her worries to the group in episode 4, and while I felt that they were quite legitimate, Juliana Pasquarosa took offense in particular because she hadn't yet had a date with Grant. Carolina was told by Juliana to leave if she was unsure. Later, she informed Grant that Carolina was only being unfavorable. But when Grant questioned Carolina about it, she clarified that she was taking the process seriously, which is why she was worried. Even if Dina eventually spoke up for Carolina, the other women's perceptions of her remained unchanged. I think Carolina is totally correct that it's too soon for any of them to be thinking about getting engaged to Grant, even while it makes sense that they think she's being ungrateful, particularly since they haven't had one-on-one dates yet on The Bachelor season 29. After just one date, Carolina voiced her reservations about getting engaged, even though Grant had only known his Bachelor girlfriends for approximately a month. The fact that Juliana, who has never gone on a date alone, took the most offense at Carolina's statement struck me as absurd. Since they had never really spent time alone together, I couldn't see how her entire being could be in her connection with Grant. In my opinion, Grant's interest is elsewhere if he hasn't selected a woman for a one-on-one date by now. Carolina appears to have a higher chance of staying with Grant till the end than someone like Juliana or Zoe McGrady, who haven't had that alone time either, because she was selected for the second one-on-one date. But even after that one date, Carolina and Grant should not even consider getting engaged until they had spent a significant amount of time together. I find it hard to believe how little time Grant has spent with the women whose families he will be meeting during his hometown dates. Carolina is exactly correct, in my opinion, that The Bachelor moves far too quickly. Although women who say they're ready to get married on premiere night would fall in love with anyone who was The Bachelor, I agree with her that those who took the process seriously would be worried. Furthermore, because a single date may not result in a committed relationship, most people in real life don't introduce their families to their significant others after just one date. Furthermore, they almost never ask their partner's permission to pop the question after just one date, but Grant might do just that when he meets the women's families. In addition to the madness, he might ask 4 separate women to marry him on the 4 occasions in his hometown. In my opinion, the women ought to be worried about this if they aren't already. The Bachelor's record is poor, despite the fact that The Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise have higher success rates. After Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell, The Bachelor season 25 couple, broke up in January 2025, only 3 of the previous 28 couples who were engaged or left the program together are still together. The married pair from season 17 of The Bachelor are the ones who are still together. Catherine Giudice and Sean Lowe, as well as engaged couples Zach Shallcross and Katie Bigger from The Bachelor season 27, as well as Joey Graziadei and Kelsey Anderson from The Bachelor season 28. But the fact that only 3 Bachelor couples have survived doesn't surprise me in the least. In fact, given how little the couples knew one another before to their proposals, I find it astonishing that any of the relationships survived. I hope Grant finds love, but I know that's uncommon for The Bachelor, and the chances are set against him and whatever he chooses. Carolina was clearly aware of this as well, which is why she was hesitant to propose to Grant so quickly. I believe Carolina is entirely correct, despite the fact that the other ladies assaulted her for voicing reservations about becoming engaged to Grant so soon. Even though she was aware of what she was getting herself into when she joined The Bachelor, no one could truly know how they would feel about it until they went through it themselves. Because the show isolates the candidates, Carolina has no one else to talk to, which makes me feel awful for her. In order for Carolina and Grant to continue their connection during The Bachelor season 29, it is hoped that she would be able to move past her feelings. When The Bachelor Season 29's Carolina Sofia confessed to the other women that she thought that she didn't know Grant Ellis well enough to get engaged to him after one date, some of them thought that she was being ungrateful, but I completely agree with her that the timeline of the show is way too fast to end in a proposal. During episode 4, Carolina told the group about her concerns, which I thought were completely valid, but Juliana Pasquarosa took particular offense to them because she hadn't had a one-on-one date with Grant yet. Juliana told Carolina that if she felt unsure, then she'd leave. She later told Grant that Carolina was being nothing but negative. However, when Grant confronted Carolina about it, she explained that she had concerns because she was taking the process seriously. Dino later defended Carolina, but this didn't sway the other women's opinions about her. Although it's understandable that they feel that she's being ungrateful, especially if they haven't had the Bachelor Season 29 one-on-one dates yet, I think that Carolina is absolutely right that it's too soon for any of them to be considering getting engaged to Grant. Grant had only known his Bachelor women for about a month when Carolina expressed her concerns about getting engaged after just one date. I found it laughable that Juliana, who's never had a one-on-one date, was the one who took the most issue with Carolina's statement. It didn't seem possible to me that her whole heart could be in her relationship with Grant, when they'd never spent any significant alone time together. I believe that if Grant didn't choose a woman for a one-on-one date by this point, then his interest lies elsewhere. Because Carolina was chosen for the second one-on-one date, she seems to have a better chance of making it to the end with Grant than someone like Juliana or Zoe McGrady, who hasn't had that alone time either. However, even after that one date, Carolina and Grant need a lot more time together before they should even be thinking about getting engaged. As Grant approaches choosing the women whose families he'll meet during his hometown dates, it's unbelievable to me how little time he's actually spent with them. I think that Carolina is absolutely right that the Bachelor timeline is way too fast. I agree with her that people who take the process seriously would have concerns, while women who declare that they're ready to get married on premiere night would fall in love with anyone who was the Bachelor, but it wouldn't actually be real. In addition, in real life, most people don't introduce their families to their significant others after just one date because that date might not lead to a serious relationship. And they most certainly don't usually ask for their partner's blessing to propose after just one date, but that's exactly what Grant might do when he meets the women's families. Adding to the insanity, he'll potentially be asking for 4 different women's hands in marriage on the 4 hometown dates. I feel that if the women aren't concerned about this, then they should be. Although The Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise have better success rates, The Bachelor's track record is dismal. Only 3 out of the past 28 couples who got engaged or left the show in a relationship are still together, following the January 2025 breakup of Bachelor Season 25 couple Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell. The couples who are still together are the Bachelor Season 17 married couple Sean Lowe and Catherine Giudice, and engaged couples The Bachelor Season 27's Zach Shallcross and Katie Bigger, and The Bachelor Season 28's Joey Graziadei and Kelsey Anderson. However, it's not at all shocking to me that there are only 3 Bachelor couples who've lasted. I actually think it's surprising that any of the relationships lasted, considering how the couples barely knew each other before their proposals. The odds are stacked against Grant and whomever he chooses, and, although I hope that he finds love, I know that it's rare for The Bachelor. Carolina obviously knew this too, which is why she had reservations about getting engaged to Grant so soon. Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe my channel and do not miss any update.